Evening everybody, welcome back to the channel. We're looking at Rigetti Computing stock here. This one today we are seeing a gain on by 1.76%. It's been a relatively good day here. Again, we are green, it's good to see, and over the past 5 days we're now just about neutral, down by only 0.2% at the time of filming. The question now being, where do we go from here and what are we looking for in the future ahead? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be discussing. I'll be giving you all of my personal thoughts and opinions of things that I'm looking for into the rest of the week. If you do enjoy, please make sure to let me know. The easiest way to do so is to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. At the same time, as always, please do remember, I am not a financial advisor, this is not financial advice, so make sure you're doing your own research. Now, jumping straight in, it is good that we are finally having some green action here for this stock. It's been a good month, really, but the past couple of days, specifically since the 22nd, you'd seen a decline, right? And you saw a dip at one point down just about 7%. Now, I think over a longer term time horizon, Rigetti is holding up really nicely. And it's easy to forget what has gone on. We can look at this decline, as I say, and see it as red, but we must really look at the focal point here. And this is really the past month, maybe even the past 6 month chart, where you are seeing since maybe late March, the stock is up to now over 100%. So clearly a very strong period for the stock. With this as a context, Rigetti, I would say, is holding up incredibly well. You initially saw supports back on the 26th, these were down at the 2370 level. It's good that they have continued to hold, and that's exactly what I'd like to see into the rest of the week. I think there's a strong likelihood of this, and I do think that the growth that we've seen, the massive stability actually that we've seen since, has allowed a few things to happen. It's crucially allowed us to build some levels, some new floors at this price point, because if you have a look on a more long-term time horizon, we've not been here since maybe December or January. So to see some new levels of support forming is very good. The second thing it's allowed is for the RSI and technical indicators to cool off. You're now coming down to a more normal range here on the 3-month RSI. You can see this here. The current price stability has allowed it to come almost down to the neutral level. Same is true for the 1 month. All of this puts us in a very good and stable position, potentially to form that next leg up. And that is where my focal point is going to be now, probably for the next few days. I think the next few days are going to be very determinant as to whether that actually does form. So for the very short period, I'm looking for supports at the 2560 level, maybe the 2555 mark. If you fall below that, I wouldn't see it as being crucial. You'd be looking then, I think, down to levels such as 2490, maybe down to levels such as 2425. All of which I think would be fine. To be honest, I'd even be relatively okay with coming down to 2375. It would be less than ideal, but I wouldn't think it'd be terrible. And from there, I'd be looking for a push up to 2640, maybe 2635, 2655, then potentially up to 2690 for the potential retest of the $27 range. If that comes and if it breaks, because we have had difficulty around 2720 previously, if you can get above it, if you can stay above it, I think you're on a very good course to potentially retest levels in the high 27s. From there, you could be headed on to 30 and above. And I do see this as being a very real possibility at the moment, because I think Rigetti is building this level, this floor, very well. And I also think Rigetti, unlike many others in the AI space, in the quantum computing space, in the semiconductor space, has not necessarily been as hyped up. We've seen the stock closing its regular trading, or we're not actually closed yet, to be honest. We're about to close though. At a gain of 1.76%, the stock has established a firm consolidation pattern above its recent technical breakout levels, gaining roughly 59% over the past 30 days. Again, this is what you got to focus on. So, there is supposedly a concentration trade here favouring legacy tech conglomerates. So what does this mean, and what are the focal points here? So if we have a look, Rigetti's aggressive multi-month trajectory is anchored by expanding government commitments and updates to its physical computing frameworks. So we know about the federal funding inflow, we've spoken about this many a time now, but the pure play quantum firms are benefiting from $2 billion in US federal quantum initiatives. This is focused mainly on building domestic, fault-tolerant ecosystems. Then we have the Lyra milestone, as Rigetti's upcoming Lyra quantum system is slated for the late 2026 debut. We are seeing this hardware scale up aims to hit a 100 plus qubit threshold, with drastically improved fidelity, paving the way for commercially viable complex molecular systems or simulations and logistical optimizations. So clearly, a number of huge factors, right? I think this company as a business is in a relatively good spot, and it's interesting because Rigetti, as I say, is not a stock. I mean, it has seen a lot of growth. Don't get me wrong, but we're not seeing as much of a massive spike as we have with others. Now, at the same time, there are some factors to be aware of. We are seeing extreme price to sales metrics, as because Rigetti remains in its pre-profitability research phase, and we're currently seeing an EPS loss of 71 cents. It currently commands a highly speculative price to earnings ratio of nearly 900%. So at the same time, bullish activity shows that June trading opened with heavy options volume exceeding 126,000 contracts. Call options aggressively outpaced puts, resulting in an unusually low put to call ratio of 0.22, signaling strong short-term retail optimism. And that's the thing, right? There are still some insiders selling things to focus on, as despite retail momentum, corporate insiders have exhibited caution. Over the last 3 months, Rigetti executives and directors have executed, I should say, open market sales totaling $1.2 million in common stock. And this is where things get interesting, because stocks, in my experience, and investments are generally focused around three main points. I've said this before, I say this quite a bit because I see it as being the truth. We have the fundamentals of the business, in this case Rigetti, we have the technicals, which is the charts, and we also then have investor sentiment. And these three things not only work together, but also work to influence each other and drive share prices. And I think right now we are seeing that retail sentiment still remaining extremely high. Whilst that continues to be the case, I think we're still in a very strong position for the continuation of growth. But I also think it does mean that you're in a position where you do need to ask some questions about the potential of the stock increasing in terms of volatility. Now, volatility is what you're seeing anyway at the moment, but again, you can see those days as we have before where the stock is up maybe 5, 10, 15%. It's very easily possible. But you can also very quickly and potentially see the opposite of that, where the stock can decline by 5, 10, 15% in a day. And not everybody is ready for that. Now, if retail sentiment and investor sentiment more broadly does remain bullish in the short to mid-term, there's no reason why this rally cannot continue. There's no reason why we can't build the next leg on this rally. And if anything, from a stock chart perspective, we're building a perfect pattern, a perfect leg to potentially build that next run up. But at the same time, there are still some factors to be aware of. Does it make Rigetti a bad buy now? No. If anything, I am impressed by the strength that we're seeing here, showing that there could be a strong ability for continued bullish momentum. What it does make Rigetti is a stock that carries risk. And what it does make the stock subsequently is one which you must ask how and why and how much and how you're going to position yourselves in the trade. That's just what I'd be asking, it's what I'd be looking at, guys, but of course that's just my opinion. Thank you for your time, make sure to do your own research, and goodbye for now. Hey everybody, sorry to interrupt the video, it's me from the future speaking here, but I've got to bring your attention to something which is going on with the channel. From now, we have the join feature. You can become a channel member. If you do, you can expect to receive exclusive videos, short form content, and some of the insights and information to plays that I'm not able to produce here on the channel. It simply takes too much time, and the YouTube algorithm makes it not worth it. If you want to see some of the plays that I'm watching, some of the plays that you might be interested in, if you have any recommendations, you're going to be seeing many videos being produced in the members section on YouTube. You can find this by pressing join and coming over here, or you can click on the link in the channel bio and you'll find the membership option there. I hope to see you on the member side. Thank you so much. Back to the video.